Good afternoon, YouTubers. This is Joe Bravo and Mo Bravo's Knife Reviews. Today I'd like to demonstrate to you the size differences between the VERO Synapse XL, the VERO Impulse, and the VERO Mini Impulse. So the VERO Mini Impulse is 3.4 inches, the Impulse is 3.6 inches, and the Synapse is 3.8 inches on the blade, and they are totally different animals. The Synapse has what we call a bolster lock mechanism, and as you can see, it's not an internal frame lock. There's a bolster there that is married up next to the micarta and the titanium frame. It's very nice, very easy to use. It flicks great. It's funny because when I first started getting into knives, people said that they like the sound of knives and they like to buy knives because the sound it makes. And it's funny, I didn't get that until I started buying flippers and understanding the differences of the acoustics of the knives. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but the Synapse, with its larger size and the bolster, has a little bit lower of a tone to the acoustic, almost like a hollow sound that resonates through the knife. And you don't really hear that in the Impulse with its frame lock. And the Mini Impulse is very similar to the sound of the Impulse. And the functionality, form, fit, and finish of all three of these knives are absolutely fantastic. I would say that my favorite is still the Impulse. The frickin' blade on this Synapse XL is amazing though. And I just want to point out the stone wash finish on these VERO blades by Best Tech is absolutely amazing. I'm really digging them. I just want to show in a comparison the Mini Impulse has the hand satin, and I'm not saying that this isn't beautiful, because it is. It's got some really, really pretty lines. Trying to get that in there on the Tanto. Yeah, I'm not really picking it up too well, but I will say, as nice as the hand satin is, and I had a belt satin that I got rid of recently, the stone wash is really just doing it for me. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful knife. All of them are beautiful. I would have to say that my favorite, again, would be the Impulse. The Synapse XL comes in different configurations. This one happens to be in black micarta. They make a natural micarta. They make carbon fiber with red and carbon fiber with black inlays. The Impulse and the Mini Impulse, they come with different ano on the pivot and on the clip. As you can see, these configurations are in the nude variety. And what I'd like to do as well is provide a comparison for you. Trying to find my Paramilitary 2. And you could see that if you go by the blade, the PM2 is significantly longer in the handle. The leaf size blade is a little different as well. Everybody has a different standard of what they measure the knife against. Mine would happen to be the PM2, and that's why I really like the Impulse in its full size glory, because the handle on it is just absolutely filling of my hand, and I really can get a great purchase on it for, using a tactical term. Here's a Sabenza 21 that I picked up today. This is with a Bloodwood configuration. This isn't actually an older model from 2012, and it's just absolutely fantastic. You can take a look at the detail in that Bloodwood. I mean, it is awesome. The blade shape is typical Sabenza. Even the leather lanyard on here. I mean, it is amazing to talk about what CRK can do in making a knife that is 9 years old, and it is absolutely as beautiful as it was the day it was made. Yeah, unfortunately, I had a friend of mine that was really looking to pick up a Bloodwood, so that one's not staying very long. Lastly, because it's a new knife day for me, I wanted to present the Grimsmo Norsemen that I also picked up today. My buddy Chadwick gave me a stellar deal on this, and because I'm a good friend, I'm passing that deal on to a good buddy of mine that was looking for one of these. It is absolutely fantastic. You know, between the 21 and this Grimsmo, I am very disappointed that I have to part with these because, you know, looking at the pictures, didn't do this knife any justice. I mean, you talk about pink, you talk about purple, and you're like, oh, there's no way I would carry, or there's no way I would own a knife like this. Well, let me tell you, when my buddy gets this knife and he gets sick of it, I'm going to make sure it ends up in my collection, because I was very suspect about these knives, about the blade shape, about all the buzz around them. But crap, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful knife. It holds great in the hand. It's got a terrific edge on it. Again, I would not want to sharpen this thing, which is one of the reasons why I don't think I would ever want to use one. But man, I mean, look at the contrast. I just want to put the Sebenza back up here, and I'm going to take the Mini out, and I just want to put something like, you know, my Caribbean. And you just look at the contrast between these knives. You're talking about the fit and finish of CRK, of Grimsmo, you got VERO, and you have Spyderco. And you've got all of these different manufacturers that have the ability to provide a stellar knife at multiple different knife price points. You know, you've got your table price with the Veros coming in around the $300-$350 mark, $450, $550 on the secondary market. You get your Caribbean that comes in about $200, which has its L2000 scale, rust-resistant steel, which is absolutely fantastic. Takes a wonderful edge. And to be honest, this is probably my favorite knife right now. It's a PM2 that doesn't rust, with a ceramic detent, with beautiful G10 grips that fits great in the handle and has a fantastic compression lock system. There's no doubt about it. For you to take, you know, what I think is the best knife in my collection right now off the throne, it's got to be a great knife. And, you know, even with all these knives here, I will tell you, this Impulse is coming really close to dethroning the Caribbean. And I know it's so funny because you're talking about $300 to $200 difference. You're talking about M390 steel between the L2000 steel. But, you know, this knife is just so much fun to play with. It is so much fun to flick. And it's hysterical that this full titanium liner lock is just as fun to play with. I will say, Joseph Veros, if you're listening, the thing that I would like to see is a drop point. That's my cup of tea. That's really what I like. Is the Tonto edge great, but I hate sharpening it. And it's not a knock on your design or your blade shape, but I don't have the ability right now in my arsenal to touch up that blade by myself. And it's one of the reasons why I really find myself going towards the Paramilitary 2 and the Caribbean style blade shape, and even a drop point when it comes to the CRKs, just so you get another idea of the 31 that I'm really enjoying right now. And then lastly, because I was very interested to see what the size difference is between the Police 4 and the Synapse, and yeah, it looks like that is, you know, a 1/10 of an inch more, 3.9 versus, or 3.8, or 2/10 of an inch more. You have a 3.8 inch blade and a 4-inch blade in the Police 4, and it's hysterical too about how similar in size the handles are. I'd say the Police 4 has a little bit of an edge, and let me see if I could put a little bit of background there so you can kind of see the contrast between the two. All in all, this has been a terrific new knife day. I've really been enjoying it. I'm still trying to figure out my new setup. I made some modifications to my office. I can get some light and get some natural light and trying to reconfigure this setup here, but I'm really glad everybody took the time to watch this presentation of the different sizes between the Veros, and also enjoying in the fact that I've had a new knife day, because those aren't a bad thing. I hope everybody gets a new knife day soon, and stay frosty. We've got 30 inches of snow outside, so it's really nice to have the opportunity to come down in the basement and nice and warm and be able to present to everybody today. Well, remember to subscribe, and please, if you don't mind, leave a comment so that I know you're listening. Thank you. Have a good day.